Tonight at the Olympic trials, American Simone Biles tries to clinch the only guaranteed spot to represent Team USA. Allie Raceman has been smiling lately because the feeling is that she's going to join Simone and return to the Olympic Games. After that, her former teammate Gabby Douglas has changed the feeling around her. She needs to stick it tonight to change that feeling. The Olympic trials start now. NBC Sports welcomes you to the final night of the U.S. Olympic trials at the SAP Center, the home of the San Jose Sharks. Gymnastics legend Bella Caroli gives a big thumbs up to Simone Biles. She has a comfortable 1-point lead, and that's the feeling around her, that she's going to do this by just being her. Good evening, everybody. I'm Al Troutwick, along with Nastia Lukin and Tim Daggett. Andrea Joyce is also along. Just about everything you're going to see tonight matters, and it matters a lot. But let's start things off by talking about Gabby Douglas. Tim, what happened to her in night one, and why was it so big?
Well, first of all, Gabby Douglas, she's the reigning Olympic all-around champion. Last year at the Worlds, runner-up to Simone Biles in the all-around. But the trials process, she has not looked sharp at this point in time, and it got really dicey when she went over to the balance beam. Got all of her very difficult skills out of the way, and look at this. It's a required skill, a simple full turn off the beam, 1 full point in deductions. Like I said, she has not looked sharp.
All right, Nastia, in trouble or not?
Well, you know, I think in my opinion, she is still on the team, but there really is no room for error. Tonight, she needs to go out there and hit 4 for 4 events, and that way Marta Caroli has a way to put her on that team.
Marta will be watching every move. Everything is in place. We're glad you've joined us. We do know this. It's going to be an amazing battle. The destination is Rio, but the journey is hard. Just ask defending Olympic champion Gabby Douglas.
Some days it feels like you could run 1,000,000 miles. Some days you feel like you can't move. Some days it feels like you could start a wildfire. Some days the fire's burning you. Just don't look down. Dreaming ain't always easy, can't you hear me out? Never give up. Whoa. We all got battles. We all got scars. There will always be hurt, always be pain. That's what makes us who we are. We all got dreams written in stars. Just know that you love you, that you're in that your dreams won't be that far. We all got battles. We all got battles that we must fight.
They've all put in the work, but only 5 will get a chance to complete the dream that started so long ago. NBC's coverage of the 2016 U.S. Olympic Gymnastics trials is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Taste the feeling. By Citi, proud partner of Team USA, proud sponsor of Progress. And by Visa, helping Olympians reach their dreams for 30 years. Back in California, this is how things are going to work tonight. There's going to be a regular 4-rotation competition. At the end of it, whoever wins the all-around gets 1 spot to go to Rio. Then the selection committee will go into a back room and after a few minutes come out and tell the world who the other 4 are. It is expected that Simone Biles will take her 1-point lead and take this all around.
What a way to start off the last day of the Olympic trials for gymnastics with the most dominant female athlete in the world. Her coronation is coming in about a month in Rio. She is unbelievable.
Yeah. You can just hear the crowd there, so excited, cheering for her. Simone said after night one, she felt like my heart was going to pop out of my chest. There was so much energy in the arena.
Aly Raisman has had a little trouble lately keeping this vault straight.
But this is one of the primary reasons, along with a bunch of other things, that she is, in my opinion, a lock already. Very good, very good. She's capable of doing it a little bit better. Believe she landed outside of the lines, which is, they call it a neutral deduction. One thing, when she does it without the major twist, she gets such a tremendous block off the table. She kind of goes a little early. You see her twisting right there, and that makes her slide to the side right there. And yes, that foot is outside the line. The line is in gymnastics, but if it's outside of it, that's a deduction.
It was better blocked.
Get her score in a moment, and we'll update Simone Biles too. She gets a very solid 15.55, so no problem at all with that stepping out of bounds. We go back to Aly Raisman, and she gets a 15.2 on vault, so a good start for those two.
I can go for it if you want it.
Aly came in with the third position in the standings behind Lori Hernandez and Simone Biles. Now, I walked by the women backstage, the 13 women, and it was dead silence. Nobody was talking. It felt so tense. They needed someone to break that tension, and we show you our scoring system, which shows green is good, yellow is red is bad. And here's Michaela Skinner, and she was the right woman to break the tension. Here's what it looked like.
Oh, it's...
Looks like she'd be a good teammate.
Well,
not done. She was such a happy gymnast night one. She had her fist in the air. There were hugs, big smiles. It looked as though she did all she thought she could do.
yes, she did. It's the best competition I've ever seen her have. This event is a key one for Michaela. A lot of people in the know are thinking that she is a contender, a real contender for that last spot on the Olympic team. And this is the main reason why, because she does the most difficult vault in the competition. It has a maximum score of a 16.4. She could help the U.S. by about a half a point on this one event only.
And that was even better than night one.
Wow.
That was definitely 2 arms, no doubt about it. Really good.
Wow.
Now, was that a stick?
Slight hop on the landing. Now we're being very critical, but that's exactly what the judges are looking for too. So you see her do great repulsion. Feet are pointed in the air, and just, I mean,
I
just
give that a
tiny,
stick, yeah. I mean, it's in slow motion.
tiny hop.
That was big time for her. Wow.
Thank you.
You know, she gets criticized sometimes because people say she doesn't block off of both arms well. It doesn't really matter. Both of her arms are in contact with the table.
Thank you.
This should be a very good score.
Thanks.
Even a 10th higher in starting score than we saw from Aly Raisman.
If you've seen our prior coverage, you know there's a new star on the scene, and this is her, Lori Hernandez from New Jersey. And as our coverage continues tonight, we're going to have some amazing comments from the gymnasts backstage about night one and from their parents about what this means. And you'll never forget the way Lori's mom talks about what this is all about.
Oh boy, and she is out of bounds as well. 1/10 of a point. Very close on her second pass as well, but she stayed in.
Maybe she's just a little too amped up.
And the crowd absolutely loves it.
Marta said she didn't look intimidated in the first set of the trials process. She says that's exactly what we're looking for. And that made Lori Hernandez smile when I told her.
And Marta Caroli had to notice that Michaela Skinner vault score 15.45. Now the stage is set to see what kind of game Gabby Douglas has tonight. She needs to be so much better than she was night one, because this could be the final night.
I talk a lot. Are you sure you want me to do this? Yeah. All right, what do I say? Whatever I want? We just finished the first day of Olympic trials, which is pretty insane. I mean, as a little kid, this is all I've really thought about. Everyone keeps asking me how I'm feeling, and to be honest, I feel like I need a nap.
I was so determined. I had a good and solid beam routine, and I felt like on a basic skill, a turn.
I think right now on Sunday, I'm just more worried about like how emotional I'm gonna be, and I'm probably gonna be a very ugly crier. I'm gonna make sure that I have waterproof mascara.
Going into day 2, I'm pretty excited because it's like the home stretch and it's actually here and it's just so unreal, and we're all honored to be here, and it's just so exciting.
That's what we called our truth booth after night one of the Olympic trials. So Allie will have to take her nap some other time. The judges didn't love Lori Hernandez's floor exercise. She gets a 14.7, and we'll explain why that could be good news for Allie Raisman going forward.
Well, yeah, but I also think, you know, that score, there's nothing really to worry about. Yes, the score was a little bit lower, but it definitely won't damage her chance to get a spot on the team.
Now, there doesn't need to be any added drama, but there is around Gabby Douglas. There was that big fall night one off the balance beam and a coaching change right before these trials. What happened?
Well, basically what Gabby decided, and what she told me exactly, is she needed a coach that could be on the floor, this guy right here, Christian Geraldo, that would be capable of spotting her. She has been on the floor, he's been on the floor, but since her comeback has started, someone else has been on the floor as well, who is not here. She's up there in the seats. Kitty Carpenter, she's the head coach at Buckeye Gymnastics. Christian, the assistant coach. Kitty was very noble in saying that if Gabby's more comfortable with him, then I'm glad to play my role. But to be honest, it's surprising to me she did it so late in the game.
Okay, so both coaches were with Gabby Douglas, and then they took Kitty and put her up in the stands, and ironically, she's very close to the vault. I mean, the balance beam where the fall happened.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think what Gabby needs to do is just completely focus on her gymnastics, and there's been a lot of changes in the last few months and the last few weeks and days, but you know what she needs to do tonight is focus on her gymnastics and hit 4 clean routines.
You know, I've never seen gymnasts change coaches so close to the Olympic Games. Personally, if it was me, I would have recommended that's a bad idea.
That's what champions do.
Great job.
Well, the night begins about as good as it can right now for Gabby Douglas. She's got 3 more challenges to go. And then at the end of the night, Team USA will be announced. A rare smile from Gabby Douglas. She may have refound the joy she recently lost. Holding as many rolls of tape to fill a pharmacy, Gabby Douglas moves on to the second rotation with a 15.0 on the vault. How good was this, Nasia?
And this was pretty much as good as she has been doing all week here. So you see her get a pretty good repulsion and some height off of the vault, and just a tiny hop on the landing.
And everybody knows, including Christian, that Gabby Douglas needs a big night, and what a way to start. It's as clean as I've seen her do it, and the landing was, I guess if they're being really critical, they're going to take a 10th off only.
Based on what you guys have said, I think there are 8 or 9 young women who think that this could be a huge night for them. What about Maggie Nichols? What does she think?
Well, Maggie Nichols is coming back from an injury, so this routine right here is very crucial because Marta definitely said that she needs to prove that she can do well on all 4 of the events tonight.
The injury Nasia was talking about was her right knee. You see that bandage that she had on it. Happened about 3 months ago. You see right there.
Good job, man. Okay, okay. Nice.
And then take a look at the left knee as well. In 2014, she dislocated that kneecap, had to have surgery on that. And then, like I said, 3 months ago, injured it. So this is where it's challenging. Her opening tumbling run, super difficult. Lands a little bit low with her chest down and takes a big step. That's really hard to do after coming back from an injury like that.
No idea what it means, but you may have seen in the background during the routine, the selection committee wasn't really watching.
Come on, Reagan.
The selection committee, of course, Marta Karolyi on your right, and then Tatiana Perovskaya and Taryn Humphries, who is the athlete representative. Taryn, a silver medalist in 2004 on both the team and the uneven bars. Perovskaya, a tremendous coach. She helped Oksana Omelianchik win an all-around championship in 1985 and Ashley Postel win beam in 2002.
Score's not going to help.
Yeah, she just had, you know, too many little deductions. We're going to talk about it today. You can't just stick a landing anymore. You got to land in the proper position, and she didn't have that.
Here's Reagan Smith. Floor exercise. She's one of those bubbled kids, right?
Absolutely. And, you know, Marta Karolyi told me after P&Gs, I'm looking for Reagan to settle herself. She was so confident at the beginning. beginning of the season. Needs to get back to that now.
Crowd liked what Reagan Smith did to the music of the Adams family. And there's Kim Zamescu, her coach.
And everything. Good job. All right.
We'll take a break as the gymnasts move to the next rotation. When we come back, Tim and Nasia explain how you take certain pieces and create a 5-person Team USA. This is the second night of the Olympic trials and the last one. For up-to-the-minute news and exclusive behind-the-scenes coverage of your favorite athletes on the road to Rio, visit Google Play Store or iTunes. Download the Team USA app today. A lot of legends in the house tonight. Gymnastics like Nadia and otherwise like Kobe Bryant. And think about it. He could be anywhere on earth today without a problem. And he's here at the Olympic trials. Now, here are the standings after the rotation as Simone Biles builds up her lead. As far as the standings go, the only thing that matters officially is the top spot. After that, you may not have to be in the top 5 to be part of Marta Karolyi's picture for Team USA. Al Troutward back with Tim and Nasia. It's a brand new episode of How to Build Your Team USA. And even I know where you're going to start, Tim.
Well, you got to start with the most dominant female athlete in the world and the greatest gymnast that's ever been, Simone Biles. She helps tremendously in 3 different spots.
And then comes Allie Raisman. She's been as confident and reliable as anybody could ask from her.
But you got a new one. This is new, folks. Lori Hernandez. Her trials have been unbelievable thus far. I think she's a lock right now.
And then you see if Team USA struggles anywhere, it would be the uneven bars. So that's where Madison Koshin or Ashton Locklear could come handy.
And what name are we missing? It used to be there, Gabby Douglas. She's down here. She's got something to prove. She started great, but she's got 3 more events to prove to Marta Karolyi that she is absolutely in the discussion.
And a few more that are in the discussion. You have Maggie Nichols, Michaela Skinner, and Reagan Smith.
And that structure is because in the very important team finals, Team USA will be sending up 3 gymnasts, and all those scores count.
So it's a good start for Gabby. It's certainly her least challenging event, though. She's been doing that vault for a long time, and she does it extremely well. Where she goes next is what this lady right here, Marta Karolyi, the national team coordinator and the architect behind the resurgence, or not resurgence, but the tremendous accomplishments and domination of Team USA in the sport of gymnastics.
And Rio is going to be the end of an era.
It is. She is actually stepping down after that. I asked her if she was getting nostalgic at all, and she said, absolutely not. I've got a job to do. I'm going to do it. She also told me tonight, right before the competition began, that still, even at that point, her team had not changed. I said, what if some people have rough nights? And she said, well, it's not a guarantee then.
Well, to put it all in perspective, Team USA could really take 2 teams and definitely finish 1-2 in the team competition. That's how much depth there is.
Simone Biles in the top spot in the standings. We go to the uneven bars, and Tim, explain why this is potentially very important to
Well,
Allie.
one of the main reasons she came back was she was tied for third in the all-around at the London Olympic Games, and they broke the tie. She did not get a medal, and she said she wanted to come back. She thought that was so wrong. So she is doing this routine. It's so critical for her to prove to Marta Caroli that she can be depended on the first day of Olympic competition, so she has a shot to be in the all-around. It is not her best event. Here's a release right here. A little bit close on that. That'll be a deduction. Oh, and that was well past a handstand.
He's supposed to connect it to that skill right there. Not a huge mistake.
Dismount.
She's definitely done better before, but for Allie, we say this every time, and she always tells us she just wants to get through the uneven bars.
Well, after her coach, who you're going to see in a second right here, Mihai Breshchin, he says, our strategy on bars, make the routine as short as possible.
If she can somehow get in front of Lori Hernandez, that could help out her argument for being in the all-around.
Yeah, she's not going to move ahead after this with Lori's vault. She's been averaging right around a 15 on this event. Same exact vault we saw from Gabby Douglas.
And that was even better than night one.
That coach right there, Maggie Haney, she said, Lori is like my firstborn. I've had her since she was 5 years old. It's her first time being at this level as a coach.
Allie Raceman gets an impressive 14.3. She's smiling her way through it. Now to the story of Gabby Douglas. Had a great start on her vault, and it's time for the Moments of Progress presented by Citi. Here she is with Andrea after night one.
You had told us that you were really trying to recapture the joy that you felt like in the last month, maybe that you had lost some of that. Is that still a work in progress then for you, would you say?
It really is, because I feel like I spent so much time on being aggressive, then I have to just uproot that out and just cast that away. And it's going to take a little bit of time to, kind of get that back, but not very long.
So what do you tell yourself as you get ready for Sunday then? What's the most important thing, your mantra to yourself?
I'm just going to tell myself to just keep fighting and not giving up and not throwing everything away just because I made one little mistake, just to really just go out there and got to fight for it, Gabs.
That Moment of Progress brought to you by Citi, sponsors of Progress. Lori Hernandez got a 15.15 on her vault, and this is the moment here tonight for Gabby Douglas, because as you guys projected out, this is the apparatus.
Yeah, and this is exactly where she needs to fight. The Team USA would absolutely use her in the lineup in the team finals competition on this event.
She knows it. This is the routine of the night for her.
Gabby's mom, Natalie Hawkins. The other night it was Team Purple, wasn't it?
I think they actually match whatever color leotard she's wearing.
Right up the top will be a very tricky release and combination. Wow, she barely got her hands on that first release. Oh boy. Not a big error, but she was supposed to go immediately. She had an extra circle around the bar.
2 down and 2 to go.
Let's vote. Did that just clinch Rio?
Oh, golly. About as close as you can come. She just goes error-free on the next 2 events. And she ought to pack her bags. So this is done in combination, so it makes it very tricky. Now, look at her hands. She barely gets them around the bar. It's a long hang, and then look at that beautiful, gorgeous position. On the low bar, right here, very difficult element. This is called an L grip, pirouettes, and she's supposed to go right now, right up. You see the coach? She does an extra swing in that straddled position. She's gonna lose a little bit in connection.
But this is where she doesn't lose too much. Her dismount, 2 flips in a laid out position. She spots the ground. Boom.
That seems like a positive vote to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can usually read her emotions. A 15.25 for Gabby Douglas. Her Olympic trials tonight is halfway done.
Each Olympic story has its own beginning, set in motion by a defining moment that inspires a lifetime of participation.
And it's a Gabby gold!
Do you want to get started in gymnastics? Start the journey today.
Get the gold medals ready. The Fab Five is going gold.
Here's how. Go to NBCOlympics.com/goldmap to discover the direct route to Olympic sports programs near you. Find your path with the Gold Map today.
Back in San Jose, they may not be part of our coverage tonight. We want to congratulate Brenna Dowell, Christina Desiderio, Emily Schild, Rachel Goey, and Amelia Hundley for making their way to these trials. Here's Maggie Nichols.
And you know, she told me that I have time to get a little bit stronger, heal up a little bit more. If they were to choose me, I'd be better by the time Rio rolled around. Double twist, same vault we saw from Lori Hernandez and Gabby Douglas. Very nice job. The problem is she was capable of doing an extra half twist, and I really think that she might have needed that to work her way onto that team.
Coming up, Simone Biles and Madison Koshin on one of the most important uneven bars performances she will ever do. These are the Olympic trials on NBC. We'll be right back. Maggie Nichols with a 15.1 on the vault. Now one of the spinniest vaults you'll ever see. Simone Biles.
So Al, in training yesterday, I saw Simone Biles do this vault, and it was far and away the most perfect piece of gymnastics I have ever seen in my life. Perfect. There were a lot of 10s given out over the years. It was better than all of them. Watch this. Oh, jeez. And it was great, but you saw that slight little slide. She did that vault, but just rocked the landing. I would say, you know, this starts at a 16.3. So, my opinion, this is a 16.2 vault right here. So watch her center of gravity. Watch how it just jettisons up in the air. Open body, tiny, tiny little hop.
And even with the hop, the biggest score we've seen, 1/10 deducted.
And that was unbelievable, but I'll tell you, she really wanted that stick.
And that was pretty much as close to a perfect score that we have seen.
That's as close as you can get. My guess is every single one of the judges down on the floor, they had that same 1/10 of a point. 1/10 shy of perfect.
Now Madison Koshin locked up in an intense battle with Ashton Locklear. It's a difference of tenths. Locklear had a major fall the other night on beam, and she seemed so upset to think that that would cost her a spot.
But it is bars that's going to get the job done. You see, Locklear has that advantage in the first competition as well as the second competition. Then it gets really tight. They tied night 2 at P&G's, and then first night here, once again, a tie. So it's very, very close. So she's a world champion. The reigning world champion, along with 3 other young ladies from Glasgow in 2015. Now watch this combination, and right back up, beautiful. Oh, she floats. Looking for perfect handstands. Gorgeous release.
That's exactly what she needed to do.
This concludes competition in the second rotation. Here we are at the halfway.
Wow, is that some routine? You don't need to know anything about gymnastics to know great when you see it. Madison Koshin makes her statement tonight. And the entire room switches to a third rotation. They're done with the vault. NBC's coverage of the 2016 U.S. Olympic Gymnastics Trials is brought to you by Samsung, proud partner of the Rio 2016 Olympic Games, and by Kellogg's, proud sponsor of the start. Well, a huge score for Madison Koshin on the uneven bars. She gets a very high 15.9. Meanwhile, the standings, Simone Biles is really pulling away as Laurie Hernandez solidifies the second spot over Allie Raisman. She's just ahead of Michaela Skinner, and Gabby Douglas has improved from 7th to 5th. And again, those top 5, that does not mean that's Team USA. Only the top spot guarantees it, and that's Gabby Douglas. But Laurie Hernandez has been very, very impressive.
She really has, and we got to talk to her after the first day of competition. She said it was crazy. People I don't even know were cheering for me, and I use that as positive energy. Get used to that, Laurie.
Her coach, Maggie Haney, right there, said to me at the last championship, she said, it's so hard because I know Laurie is either going to be 4th or 5th on, or 1st or 2nd off. But I think she's wrong. I think it's already a done deal because of performances that she's had so far, and she's great here, which helps the U.S. tremendously. Got a bunch of releases that she'll do in a row. Transition down to the low. She actually left one of them out. This is where she struggled night 1. That was great.
We're thinking on your feet. Okay. All right, I think it would have been probably okay. Just felt too tight.
So she's talking about when she transitions from the low bar to the high bar, Laurie must have thought she didn't have enough swing out of it to do the release that she typically does. She takes that out. So here are those releases. She would have done one prior to this. She chose to take it out. This one's very nicely done. And she'll do it again, but she'll straddle her legs on it, so it's a different move, and then grab on, transition to the low bar. That's called a pack salto.
How about you manage it? job, Laura. Thanks.
Back to Michaela Skinner. Has she done enough?
The balance beam isn't exactly her strength, but she's great on the vault and the floor exercise. But this is still an important routine for her to make, to show Marta that she's consistent and reliable.
Very difficult in combination. Just a little bit off on that. She has one of the highest maximum potential scores in not just this meet, but on the world level. Nice. I'll tell you what, Michaela Skinner has been doing her job. Gabby has been doing her job as well, and that is really, it's bad news for Michaela. This is so hard, though. Full twisting double somersault. We'll see Simone Biles do one as well a little later. But she is doing all that she can, and she, wow, tremendous as she gets a hug from Bruce McGee, one of her coaches, and Lisa Spini.
Well, Lori Hernandez is not having a great scoring night at all. This is another cautious tale, 14.75 on the uneven bars. One more event to go. Now, everyone in the building knows what happened on the balance beam to Gabby Douglas on night one Friday.
And this is what occurred. As I said at the top of the show, she really had gotten through most of her most difficult skills, but this right here, a simple full turn off the balance beam. I saw her do a whole bunch of them in warm-ups. Look how it drifts to the side right from the get-go, and that foot kind of gets stuck underneath her. Can't pivot it around all the way, but it really looked like she could have maybe figured out a way. Yeah.
A little bit.
And right over her shoulder is the coach who was taken out as the head coach, if you want to call it that.
She still is in the gym at Buckeye Gymnastics, where Gabby will go back to.
And after day one, Gabby said, obviously I had some mistakes, but I'm going to really fight for it today.
So far, the karma between the coach and Gabby has looked very good tonight. There are times when she does this performance, guys, where she almost looks mad. And watch the way she throws down her hands. It looks like there's a real vengeance to it.
I think they're chanting Gabby, yeah.
It's pretty cool. A delay here as the judges ponder the score of Michaela Skinner.
I'm not sure if there's anything worse than having a delay and waiting to start your routine, especially on the balance beam. It just makes you so much more nervous.
Very nice. There's a big test right here. Back handspring layout.
Watch this skill right here. Very difficult.
Back with a full. Wow. And she's got more to do. that turn that she fell on night one. A lot more authoritative right there.
See the crowd react to that?
Here's her dismount. Done in combination to a double pike somersault.
Shake it off, shake it off.
You know, but we were talking about this. Yeah, balance beam's important. She could definitely do it in the qualifying round, but it's not a necessity in the team final. Her biggest challenge was uneven bars, and she delivered there.
Now, part of the conversation, Nastia, has to be a belief that I'm sure Marta has, that in a couple of weeks of having her at the ranch, they can fix some things, right?
Well, yes, of course. You know, they're going to go down to the ranch for about 9 or 10 days before they head to Rio, but still. And here's where she fell, full twisting, back tuck. And she tried, but she just was way too far off. That foot just didn't quite.
But you see it drifting to the side right away. It's a little bit easier to take falling off on a back with a fold than a full turn, but it still hurts just as much.
Let's go to Andrea Joyce, who's with Gabby's mom.
All right, Al, well, Natalie insists that she was not holding her breath for the last couple of minutes, but what is it like for you up here knowing that that beam routine this whole night could be make or break for Gabby in terms of the Olympics?
Yeah. I just, you know, I'm sad that, you know, she didn't stick it because I know how much she wanted to make that routine so amazingly perfect. But I know the greatness that she has in her, and I know what she's capable of. And so I just hope that, you know, she can keep everything together for floor.
Before that, she seemed to have flipped a switch. What did she say to you after Friday night? Because she was very disappointed.
Yeah. Well, she was actually okay. I mean, she was actually in the best spirits I've ever seen her in after a meet and after not doing as well as, you know, she had expected to do. And, you know, we've had some hurdles to overcome, you know, some injuries that she's had to deal with. But, you know, I'm so pleased with everything that she's done.
How concerned are you with these kinds of mistakes, though, especially on the beam, that her opportunity might be slipping away?
Right. Well, we're people of faith, you know, and I just have to believe that everything is going to work out the way that it should.
What would you tell Marta? What case would you make for Gabby to make this team?
I would tell her to consider all of the stuck routines that she's had, you know, at American Cup, at Gisolo. You know, she was working back from an injury, and the fact that she could come back so strong was pretty phenomenal. And then her placement at Worlds was pretty amazing too. So I would just say, you know, consider the, you know, they don't count it against her.
Spoken like a true mom. Thanks, Natalie. Back to you, Al.
Okay, Andrea. Meanwhile, after the judges took a little extra time, and that's usually not a good sign, Michaela Skinner got a 14.5, but with the fall, Gabby Douglas gets a 14.1.
Well, remember, this is not an event she has to do in the 3-up, 3-count team finals. I think she's still okay at this point.
Maggie Nichols at the uneven bars.
5 months ago, everybody had Maggie on the Olympic team, including myself, without question. Thought they were a little harsh on her day one. Watch this combination right here. Now back up again. They're looking for the gymnast to land with stretched arms on these releases.
A little low on that last pirouette. So far, Maggie has had a great night, but will it be enough?
I don't think that that's going to happen, though. At this point in time, I think she needed to be better than she's been so far, especially on floor exercise and vault, where she could be a factor.
We'll take a break. On the other side, Ashley Locklear on the most important moment of her night at the uneven bars. Any for your thoughts? This week, Fallon is all new, and welcome guests Kristen Stewart, Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Michael Strahan, and Blake Lively. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is all new this week on NBC. Packed house, over 17,000 here at the SAP Center in San Jose, California, just south of San Francisco. Watching at home is, well, it's Boomer Phelps. He's got his own Instagram account, and he wrote this: Dad and I got to spend some father-son time today after I went to the doctors. We watched women's gymnastics trials. Well, Michael, if you're out there, hi, congratulations on a 5th Olympics. Now go change Boomer's diaper. Al Troutwig, Tim Daggett, Nastia Lukin, Andrea Joyce back here. And boy, this was a woman who was about as upset as you can get after night one.
Yeah, you know, the uneven bars is definitely her specialty and her strength and her key to trying to make this team. But night one had a great uneven bar routine, but unfortunately came off on the balance beam.
But there is a storyline where that fall off the balance beam may not factor in, right?
Well, there is, but, you know, if she's going for only one event and Marta doesn't feel confident that she can deliver on balance beam as well, I think that that's a tall order. What Madison Koshin brings to the table, you see that 15.9, that's going to be hard to top. She also brings the ability to fill in if somebody were to get sick, someone were a little bit injured, and that's a big deal, because past Olympic Games, there have been a number of U.S. athletes that have gone down with injury.
That definitely happened at 2008 Olympic Games and previous Olympic Games, so it's always good to have a little bit of a depth in your team.
So her routine is not quite as difficult as Madison Koshin, but what she has been consistently doing, even when they tied, she has less deductions in the routine. She's more perfect on her routine.
Well, they're watching this performance, that's for sure.
She's actually has Native American heritage, the Lumbee tribe. She'd be the first to represent that tribe at the Olympic Games in gymnastics. She's gonna just keep flying from one to the other and then back down again. So you look for perfect handstands. At the end of that, absolutely flawless. Look for the handstand again. Maybe a 10th shy.
Well, she came through this time.
Oh, boy. That was tremendous.
Okay, so those three are going to go into a room the moment the last rotation is done. We put 12 minutes on the clock, and then the announcement happens. Tonight.
Thank you. And her lines are just so beautiful. And she really just, what every gymnast wants to do, stick the landing, and they've been drilling it every single day in practice. She flies so high, nails it. Just about as good as she can do.
Madison Koshin on the balance beam.
So remember, in the qualifying rounds, can you help? On the balance beam, can you potentially help or come to the rescue in an injury? That's what Madison brings. Big skill right here. Super hard. Oh! Wow.
The beam is not being kind tonight.
She was rock solid on that day one here in San Jose.
Just the dismount left.
Well, Koshin and Lockley are even in the falls department.
Exactly as your coach Laurent said, you have to finish well. You got to move past this mistake. And here's where it went wrong. It was a standing Arabian, so it's a blind landing. You see, she can't quite see the beam, and her left foot just slipped right off. Here's another angle. So she seemed to be pretty square until the landing. Actually, left foot slipped off, right heel was off.
Thomas, her father, watching. Didn't like that.
And I think he's right. He's saying that's all right, and I think she's okay at this point in time. They both, Ashton and Madison, both have a fall on the beam.
This sounds like the work of John Roethlisberger, one of the proudest Olympians I've ever seen. In our truck working with us, you take out the 2 falls over these last 5 nights of competition, they're separated by 2/10. Simone Biles.
This is the trickiest part of a routine. This release, and then right down to the low. Beautiful. Simone hasn't been as great as she can be the last 2 times out on bars, but this one, a walk in the park.
She's going to Rio. For sure. I can tell you Ashton Locklear on the uneven bars got a really big, it's almost a right in at this point, 15.7.
Koshin's score was a 15.9 though, remember that.
13.85. More than 2 points of deductions. So here you go. Secret Classic, National Championships, Trials, 15.7 to 15.72.
But look at the last 2 scores. And what Marta Caroli, the selection committee, they want the athlete that is best right now, not a couple of weeks ago and not a month ago at the Secret Classic. And if you look at those, Madison comes out on top.
But did you think that Madison's uneven bars looked like a 15.9 routine?
Well, it certainly was a very good score, but I think ranking relative, I think that they did a good job, the judges.
Wearing her waterproof makeup, Allie Raceman.
She was very upset, as was her coach, with night one at these trials on balance beam. Missed a bunch of connections. She'll do a front flip into a leap. She needs to keep it moving and does well. Big pass right here. She needs to keep her body laid out. Another potential. Very nice leap there. Tuck front this time into that leap. Very good.
So far, this might be the best beam routine that we've seen.
And that's saying a lot for Allie Raceman on beam.
Just the dismount left. Very difficult dismount.
Called a Patterson, named after Olympic champion Carly Patterson, who did it first. That was tremendous.
Simone Biles, an uneven bar score of 14.9. It's not her best event. That's just the story. When we come back, we'll take a look at the standings as we head to the fourth and final rotation of the trials. Tomorrow, American Ninja Warrior moves back to 8-7 Central, and Ninja's newest breakout sensation, Jessie Graff, returns for her chance to go down in history. New American Ninja Warrior tomorrow on NBC. Big gymnastics festival going on outside the SAP Center, and they've got their own mini Ninja Warrior set up. And with a gymnastics convention here, do you think they've got some people who are interested in doing that? It's about as happy as you can see Allie Raceman, except if she's won a medal. She's catching up to Laurie Hernandez. One rotation for her to go. Okay, Gabby Douglas falls off the beam. That stings, but what do you think about her overall stock?
Ironically, I think it went up because she delivered where Team USA needs her the most, on the uneven bars.
Nastia?
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Tim. You know, I think obviously she still has a floor exercise, but in the team finals, they're most likely not going to put her up on the balance beam. And as you said, they will use her on the uneven bars, and she nailed that routine.
The first thing Coach Gallardo said to her when she came off the beam, he said, shake it off. When we come back, she'll be on the floor, and we'll see if she was able to do just that. It's the final night of the Olympic trials, the live announcement of Team USA when the competition is done. Last night in San Jose, a celebration of past Olympic champions. We had some friends out there.
1984. Trent Davis, 1992. Paul Hobb, 2004. Shawn Johnson, 2008. Nastia Lukin, 2008.
That'd be pretty cool.
It was a ball, an absolute ball. I got to see my coach, Makoto Sakamoto, who was also an Olympian. All my teammates, fantastic.
You know, it was so much fun. I think for me, I looked up to so many of these Olympians. So not just being in the same room with them, but being able to walk across the stage with them all was special.
It's like being in a very exclusive club that Gabby Douglas will be part of forever. She wants one more taste of it.
I think she puts 4 tumbling passes to her feet. She ought to pack her bags Well, she did it. She put every one of them to her feet, and I think that woman right there is going to her second Olympic Games.
You got it, Mios.
You know, she said she felt criticized, that everybody was saying she was so stoic and looked angry, mad. She sure didn't show that here on this floor routine. Think she could kind of taste it a little bit.
And that's exactly what she said when we talked to her. She said just a few weeks ago in St. Louis, I was trying to be too focused and too fierce, and I want to go out there and have fun.
It's pretty fun to make your second Olympic team.
I can imagine, but I'm not sure how that feels.
So Gabby Douglas's night is done. She's done what she can do.
Now you sit back and wait.
Doesn't score very well. 14.55. Well over a point in deductions.
But really, remember, the place where she is so critical is the uneven bars, and that, you know, they certainly watched that routine. There's no question the selection committee did, but she delivered on the event that Team USA needs her to win that Olympic team gold medal on the uneven bars. A lot of people wondered if it was risky to make that coaching switch. It looks like it has played out in Gabby Douglas's favor.
But she did admit that it's been hard to flip the switch and get back on track after these changes, the mistakes that she's had.
And there, of course, she was always on the floor. Since Gabby started her comeback, that's Kitty Carpenter. She's still at the gym. Gabby still is from Buckeye Gymnastics. Christian is the assistant coach. Kitty is the head coach of that program.
Over to the balance beam we go. Maggie Nichols is standing by to end her Olympic trials. And boy, Nessie, I don't know how you do it, but if there was one moment of lament that she would have, it was what happened to her on this apparatus.
Yeah, you know, night one, they all just seemed a little bit nervous, a little bit shaky, and Maggie really could not afford any mistakes. And right there, you see her come off. Taking another look at it. Right from the beginning, her shoulders and her hips were right off the side of the beam.
Yeah, she really needed to be just about flawless here. She needed to be back to her 2015 shape where she was phenomenal. The only USA gymnast to compete all 4 events in that team final that won the Worlds in 2015. Beautiful. Nice.
Simone's like your coach. Gotta hug the coach before you can hug your best friend. She's excited with how her day went. And here's that wolf turn that you see so many people doing. Maggie has complete control. She makes her way around.
And you know, we've been talking about the selection committee. This is actually named after Taryn Humphrey, who is on that selection committee. This very nice double pike somersault. She did all she could do today, I'll tell you. Just wish she could have stayed on that beam day 1, but a remarkable comeback for this young lady as well.
Maggie Nichols gets a 14.9, only 1 point of deductions. So nicely done by her and the resulting smile. We're down to the last few routines here. We've got Reagan Smith and then a few on the other side of the break, and then it's selection time.
Reagan Smith, you know, she's such a talented newcomer to the senior competition, but she's so young and, you know, of course, still eager to grab a spot on this team. And this is exactly where she could do it. She is so good on this event.
I think Marta and the selection committee a few months ago had more legitimate thinking that she could factor in on the team. I think she just hasn't been as great as she needs to be. Marta recommended day 1 here that she change her dismount from something super difficult to something that she could do a little bit cleaner. She really tumbles on the beam. Watch this. Big back handspring and then bounces into this stretched flip. Great. And this is awesome. Back with a full. We saw Gabby stumble on this. There you go. Saw her in the airport after the P&G championships, and she was a little frustrated with her scores. Thought they were a little low, as did I. We'll see if she does that harder dismount today or not. Nope, just the double pike. That was a phenomenal routine.
I'm telling you, if you saw her in person, you wouldn't believe it.
4'6", little Reagan Smith, 16 years old after the Olympics start.
Bella Caroli calling her over.
Of course, Kim was coached by Bella Caroli. There's a couple generations of gymnastics coaching going on there.
And he's been watching her all over the place. Bella is a big Reagan Smith fan. And you know how he feels about Kim Zmeskal. Just a few routines to go, as I mentioned. And then we'll have it announced live coming up tonight on NBC. Tonight, a 15.3 on the balance beam is huge, and that is what Reagan Smith got just moments ago here in San Jose, California. Al Troutwig, Tim Daggett, Nastia Lukin, Andrea Joyce, and we're coming right down to the wire here. Ashton Locklear in her final rotation on the balance beam, where she had her worst moment of the trials on night 1. What happened?
I mean, we keep talking about how great she is on the uneven bars, but she also is normally so steady on the balance beam and just came right off. It's devastated.
Well, now a second chance for what it's worth.
So if she wants to make her case scream loudly, remember, she fell night 1, but Madison fell night 2 here tonight. Whoa. Here we go. Perfect.
A little shaky.
Very nice combination. You want to go to the Olympic Games, but you want to also have a great trials. Sans that fall on beam night 1. She has been fantastic.
That was so good. So good. So good. So good.
Good job. Yeah. Good job. Good job. Very good.
And now Madison Koshin on floor exercise. You like this routine?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I just like her as a gymnast. Impossible for her not to be received well by the international judges. A tremendous kid. And you know, Al, it doesn't matter what sport you're talking about. You always want depth and you want to have options in case something goes wrong. She provides that with her tremendous bars and being able to get the job done, if need be, on the other 3 events.
All right. You're done.
Stop whatever.
No, that was awesome.
You were producing a gymnastics movie. Was it, you know, she walked up to the door and said, done.
Hired.
We've got her. So better for Ashton Locklear than night 1, that's for sure. Gabby Douglas wants a hug. As Simone Biles gets set to conclude her trials and wrap up officially a spot on the team. The all-around winner is a guaranteed trip to the Olympic Games, and the selection committee in just a few minutes is going to pick the 4 who complete Team USA, and it's happening tonight.
Night 1, she had a little mistake on this skill. Not tonight.
This coming up right here, relatively new skill, front flip with a half. Watch her look at the beam.
Wow.
That's shocking. She struggled with consistency on that early when she started doing it, but has been so much better on it as of late. Ooh, a little bit off again. Big dismount right here.
As I remember, she had a rough finish to nationals too. Could it just be fatigue maybe?
Yeah, you know, I think they've had 2 back-to-back competition, actually 3, and they might have a little bit of exhaustion in themselves.
Well, no, the routine actually was very nice. It's just the first front half was missed in 2 weeks.
And there you hear it. Coach Amy Borman says first front half you've missed in 2 weeks. And she's right. I've seen her do it a whole bunch of times here, and it's been perfect.
But, you know, despite that fall, she is still going to win the Olympic trials. She is still going to secure her spot on the Olympic team as soon as her score comes up.
And you know what's crazy? I think she could have that same performance, and she'll still be the Olympic all-around champion, believe it or not. But look here. Yes, absolutely. She's that much better than everybody else. You know, really, I don't think it was off to the side. I just think that it was so under-rotated. Her chest was really low. Let's see. Little bit off to the side. No, I was wrong, definitely. She's off to the side right from the get-go. When you twist a little bit early on anything, it causes great problems in gymnastics.
But, you know, despite winning or not winning the Olympic trials, which of course she'll win, you don't want to end your Olympic trials with a fall on your last and final event.
Allie Raceman will now get the crowd very much involved with her floor exercise.
Reigning Olympic champion on this event.
Madison Koshin, who went just before Allie, got a 14.7 for her floor ex.
So this is tremendous in so many respects, but the first tumbling run is just outrageous. Skill after skill, jam-packed together. I don't know how she fits it all in one floor exercise area. Oh, and that time she doesn't. That was both feet out of bounds. That's a 3/10 deduction plus the deduction for the set. And that girl is going back to the Olympics.
11. It's okay. Now then, doesn't matter. Right now, doesn't matter. Good job. Very good.
He was trying, making the correction, but saying it doesn't matter, and he's right, because there is no way she is not going to Rio. Look at this. So many passes in a row, and she'll go way in the air, and she's a little over-rotated, has too much energy forward, and that just jettisons her body out as opposed to straight up.
But the following tumbling pass, she does an Arabian double pike. So you see right from the takeoff, she'll turn and do 2 flips forward in a pike position. Lands it perfectly.
That's Simone cheering hard for her future teammate.
Yeah!
Everybody's cheering for Ali Raisman, in fact.
And actually, it's her coach's birthday today.
Happy birthday to Mihai.
There you go.
You're in sync.
And she said, I said, Ali, what are you going to get him? She goes, I'm going to make the Olympic team. That'll be his gift.
Well, they were the Fierce Five, right? Fierce enough to get 2 of that team back into the Olympic picture. I'm glad it's over, she said. Simone Biles gets a 14.75, but she can't beat Carl tonight. She's going to get that all-around top spot, guaranteed spot on the team. Michaela Skinner is going to hate being in that room waiting for the selection committee.
But, you know, she can feel really good about what she has done at the Olympic trials here. This is a big routine for her. It's a place where she could contribute. Both feet, once again, 3/10 off.
A lot of out of bounds tonight. She's had some really good moments this weekend.
And Tim, as you said, you know, it might be hard for her to sit in that room as the selection committee makes their decision, but she did absolutely everything possible this weekend here in San Jose.
Oh my God, you did the
She's dancing again.
Good job. Very good.
And now the last performance in these Olympic trials. Lori Hernandez. What must she be thinking about what her future is going to be? Does she allow herself to think she's in there right now?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think that she could have a rough routine, could fall off, and she's still going to go, but no way is she thinking that. First year senior. Two in a row. Struggled a little bit day one, but that was fabulous. This is a really good routine.
She has every single one of her teammates standing and watching and cheering her on. Just the dismount left, and she's going to Rio.
And dreaming of this her whole life.
Look at this. What a great way to end it. Every one of the gymnasts came running.
That was tremendous.
She took on the beam and won. Not many of the gymnasts were able to do that tonight. Wow. Molly Raisman said she was going to cry, and she is.
Don't worry. Stop crying. You're going to ruin your makeup.
Allie tweeted out last week she wanted suggestions on the best waterproof mascara.
And the selection committee is on the move. They'll exit the arena into a doorway near us. We'll put 12 minutes on the clock. Nasia and Tim will make their picks. An emotional moment here in San Jose. She's got company, but that's the boss. And you know in her last Olympics, Marta Crowley wants to make a huge statement that it's necessary for her legacy. Lori Hernandez. I almost can't read this as a beam score. 15.7 on the beam. And the women will go to their sequestered place. And then the announcement will be live. One decision has been made for them. And that's by the performance and the standing of Simone Biles. Penny, President and CEO of USA Gymnastics.
He, of course, is not part of the selection committee, but he'll be the one that actually gets the honor to announce this team.
And we start the clock. And what difficult minutes these are going to be for a few of the women who are in the mix but aren't sure. We've shown you all the parties that are in play here tonight and Friday night in our coverage. And tonight we'll get to find out who is Team USA. Great moments for Regan Smith. Great moments for Michaela Skinner. But does that get them in? Watch this. Lori Hernandez has everybody's interest. And right after that landing, she had all their collected affection. $7:50 to go before decision time as Gabby Douglas leaves the 13 women who took part in the Olympic trials to their room to wait. Simone Biles and Aly Raceman are spending a lot of time together. They know. Now it's time for the move of the day, presented by Kellogg's and Simone Biles.
Wow, that's all you can say. So close to absolute perfection, just the smallest little hop. Well, incredible.
Only 1/10 of a deduction. That's the move of the day, presented by Kellogg's. What gets you started? The clock continues to tick, and we continue to wait. And looking up at this sellout crowd, no one has left the building. NBC's coverage of the 2016 U.S. Olympic Gymnastics Trials brought to you by P&G, proud sponsor of Moms. By Disney's Pete's Dragon, in theaters everywhere on August 12th. And by Bridgestone.
When I see her, there's something that sparkles. I love her smile, I love the joy, and I love that determination and that passion that she has.
Expectations have always been high because Simone has set her own expectations and her bar.
When I'm watching her compete, I absolutely think about when she first started gymnastics.
Come on, Gabrielle!
I will always see her as my 8-year-old little girl tumbling out there on the floor, loving what she does.
Such a hard sport. It's unbelievable to me what they've accomplished.
It takes a lot to be an Olympian. It takes a lot of sacrifice.
I've had to give up homecoming, prom dances, all the football games, all the parties.
It's something I've always dreamed of ever since I was 8 years old. If I get the chance to represent Team USA, that'll be the biggest accomplishment.
How hard has Lori worked to be in consideration for the team?
Wow. I gotta give her a lot of credit. She never ceases to amaze us. It takes not just physical strength, but the mental strength that she has, and her faith is incredible.
To see her make the team, my heart, would be filled with joy for her because of all the work she's done.
It will mean the world to know that Simone will represent the U.S. at the Olympics. To know that this is going to come to fruition is going to be unbelievable.
Some powerful stuff there. There's Lori Hernandez's mom again. Koshin family is there, and they are surrounded by 17,000 other people who care almost as much as they do. That's why they're all staying. The Biles family right there. Under 3 minutes to go. And Gabby's mom, who was gracious enough to talk to us tonight. So here are the final standings, which only in the case of Simone Biles factor into the conversation, but the performances do count for what they represent. Lori Hernandez was the second best, then Aly Raceman, by a significant amount. And then Michaela Skinner, Reagan Smith, and then Gabby Douglas finished exactly the way she started the night, in 7th place. Al Troutwig, Tim Daggett, Nastia Lukin back with you. Andrea Joyce will interview some very happy women in a few minutes. What do you think is going on in that room?
Well, I think they're probably just confirming everything because I think the gymnasts sorted it out for them pretty well. I do believe, obviously, Simone's going. Allie Raceman, she's a lock for sure. Lori Hernandez, and I think Madison Koshin made her statement. She scored a 15.9 today on the uneven bars, and the last position, it's going to be Gabby Douglas. She helps so much on the uneven bars, and she also has a reputation for getting better as you get closer to the big events.
You agree?
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, of course, Gabby Douglas did have another fall on the balance beam, which was a little uncharacteristic, but as Tim said, they're going to go to a training camp now for almost 10 days and spend it there together as a team before they head to Rio, and that's really where she will get better.
Well, Tim and Nastia have broken down throughout our coverage of who they think fits in where and where the question marks were. Well, now just minutes away from hearing what the actual team is, here's what they think the team is going to be.
Yeah, and it's those same 5 that we just mentioned. And look down at the uneven bars. That's where Gabby Douglas makes her case. Yes, she fell on beam, like Nastia said, but she helps Team USA tremendously on that event.
And this is all, Nastia, about the team finals. We go for the big team gold medal like they did in London, and you know that 3 scores go up and 3 scores have to count. A major mistake would essentially really damage the gold medal.
Well, that's exactly what Marta is looking for. She wants to have those 3 people on each event that are going to go up there and be so reliable that she can count on them to hit in such pressure-filled situations such as the Olympic team final.
And this was that routine we're talking about tonight, the uneven bars. Very nicely done, has great lines. She'll float up to the high bar. This kind of sealed the deal right there, that landing.
I think any other team would be a little bit of a surprise, at least to us. This has kind of been something that we've been putting together in our minds.
So as we see, the clock is 2-1-0. So right about now, an event that should be sponsored by Kleenex. 5 women are being told you're going to Brazil wearing red, white, and blue, and others are going to be told you're not going. But for a gymnast like Reagan Smith, her Olympic dream doesn't have to be over.
No, absolutely not. She's got a super bright future. I could definitely see her making the next World Championship team and, you know, hopefully holding on till 2020 in Tokyo.
But maybe she's getting great news right now as we speak. We're not sure. We have not gotten word that Marta Caroli is set to make the announcement here at the SAP Center. If it's like the men's selection, they will be announced as balloons drop to the floor, and there are tears everywhere. Any surprises tonight?
No, not really. You know, I gotta shout out.
How about Simone Biles falling off the beam?
Well, that was a surprise. Yes, absolutely. I think she'll be much better come Rio. But I got to give a shout out to Michaela Skinner because she was just phenomenal at the Olympic trials. Did a tremendous job. I think she needed help from Gabby Douglas, and she didn't really get it where she needed it.
How about you? Surprises?
No real surprises. You know, I was really hoping Gabby Douglas would go out there just for her own mental state and hit a clean balance beam performance, because going into the next competition, which for them will hopefully be the Olympic Games in Rio, a little boost of confidence would have done her great. But as I said at the beginning of this Olympic trials, this team is the hardest team in the world to make because the depth in this country is so strong. They could take 2 full teams and probably finish with a gold and silver medal at the Olympic Games.
And isn't Team USA the reason it's no longer 7?
It could be. A lot of people speculate that that's how it went down. You know, by lowering the team number, it brings a little bit of parity to the rest of the world. But they can't do anything to get them on the exact same level because Team USA is just too dominant right now.
Okay, the clock expired, and they're still in there. What do you think is the point being discussed?
Well, I don't really know. I'm sure I'm sure they want to be able to come out, because right after this is done, Marta's going to sit in front of the press, and they're going to ask her the rationale. And I think they're probably talking about rationale and how they can show everybody that this is justified. Because you look at it just on paper, and you see these falls that Gabby has had, you know, it's going to raise some questions, but I think it's legitimate. It's legitimate in their thinking to come out with the team that way.
How big of a favorite, no matter who they pick, is this team going to be when the Olympics begin in Rio?
Without a doubt, they are the gold medal favorite. I think they would have to fall a few times to not win that gold medal. That is how great they are. I mean, you have Simone Biles, who has really not lost a competition in probably 3 years. She's three-time world all-around champion, and she is going in as the heavy favorite, not just in the all-around competition. She has the possibility of winning 5 gold medals at the Olympic Games.
Absolutely.
The door remains closed, and how would you say the dominance can be put in perspective?
About 5 points.
Really?
Well, maybe not quite that high, but yeah, they're just stronger. You know, they're going to have a vaulting team that is much better. They're going to be. The one thing about Team USA is they are so consistent, and Marta talks about it all the time. You know, consistency is the key, and they are. You know, I attended the World Championships in 2015, got to see all the different teams train, and on balance beam, for example, we could be a couple minutes into the workout, and there would be several falls. The U.S. would never fall.
Okay, they took more than 18 minutes, but finally Marta Crowley is out. The athletes have been told. President Steve Penny is going to step to the microphone. Oh, excuse me. They've made the decision, and now they're going to tell the team.
So I've been in a room like this before where the athletes are just sitting there waiting for Marta to come in, and there she goes. Going to make 5 young ladies' dreams come true right now.
Well, they're certainly adding to their drama, aren't they?
Yes.
So this shouldn't take too long, and you wonder how many of the women are really going to be shocked by what they hear.
Well, I think Michaela Skinner could be shocked, and I think Maggie Nichols is going to be devastated, because a year ago she was definitely on this team, was the only athlete from the USA that competed all 4 events in that gold medal run at the Worlds in 2015. Someone like Little Reagan Smith, who has a tremendous future in front of her. It'll be hard for her. It'll be hard for all of them. But you know what? I really think the rationale is pretty strong.
And you know, these young women have been hearing the word Rio for 4 years now. And in your world, Nastia, you know, the World Championships are great and the Nationals are great, but you are constantly surrounded by these Olympic rings every day.
Well, absolutely. You live your life to compete at the Olympic Games. No matter how many World Championship medals you have, like Simone Biles, to kind of complete that entire thing, she wants a multiple gold medals at the Olympic Games.
Are you surprised it took this long?
I am a little bit.
I mean, you had this thing wrapped up, you know.
You know, I think they also want to show the girls that, you know, this was a hard decision. You know, you can't overstate it. They have worked their entire lives, given everything to this process, and it shouldn't be quick. If it's a selection committee, they should take every minute they need.
What do you think? Are you surprised it took this long?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think they had a lot to discuss, and especially with the few mistakes that were going on. But as Tim said, you know, there's a lot to kind of explain, too, because you look at the results. Gabby Douglas was in 7th place. She's behind a few of the athletes that probably won't make the Olympic team. And so, you know, there's a lot to explain. But that, again, goes back to the building of the team. Gabby Douglas could compete on the uneven bars in the team finals, and that's where they need her.
When you first heard that Gabby and Allie were going to come back and try to do this again, how much did you believe they could get it to this point?
Yeah, I didn't. Like everybody else. You know, I wasn't certainly wishing them to not be able to do it. I just know how hard it is to try to do that, to go back to an Olympic Games. It's incredibly difficult. And, you know, and I just thought it was going to be too much for them after all the time off they had had.
Yeah, parents waiting. I mean, they thought this was going to be 12 minutes, and I wasn't prepared with you guys to do a half-an-hour talk show here.
This is agonizing for all parties. There's no question about it. I remember my mom talking to me about that process going to the Olympic trials. It was decided by score way back then, but she said it was excruciating.
Now, has anything changed in the process as far as what we're going to see in Rio, taking us to the medals? It starts with qualification.
Absolutely, in qualification. So you have a 5-person team, and on each individual event, the USA will put up 4 different gymnasts across the 4 different events. From there, they will qualify, most likely in first place, into the team finals, and then that team size gets shifted down to 3 up, 3 count.
Okay, you've been a parent of a gymnast. Your son Pete has put you in many a situation. What do you think of when you're a parent and your kid's doing something like this?
Well, I have tremendous sympathy for these people right now, because I can't even tell you how painful that is. You know, the indecision, it's, you know, Allie Raceman says she's had a stomach ache for a month now, and I can guarantee you her mom has too.
Well, the Biles are good. Their daughter's going. One last break, and we think when we come back, the much anticipated announcement of Team USA. About a half an hour. It is time now to meet the 5 members of Team USA.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the president and CEO of USA Gymnastics, Steve Penny.
Good evening. What an amazing night of gymnastics we've had here in San Jose. It's now my great pleasure to introduce to you the 5 ladies who will represent the United States of America in Rio de Janeiro. 3-time world champion, Simone Biles. The reigning Olympic all-around champion, Gabrielle Douglas. Making her first Olympic team, Lori Hernandez. The reigning world champion on bars, Madison Koshin. And the second member of the Fierce 5, 2012 Olympic gold medalist, Allie Raceman. They will be joined by the 3 replacement athletes. Please welcome Michaela Skinner, Reagan Smith, and Ashton Locklear. These are your Olympic team members for 2016.
Well, those tears from Gabby Douglas tell you one thing. She didn't take this for granted. as we've told you, the replacements getting this attention is very nice, but things could easily go that they get no taste of Rio. They get no taste of the Olympics, and that's just the sad way it is. This is the team. Simone Biles, Gabby Douglas, Lori Hernandez, 16 years old, Madison Koshin, and Allie Raisman. Well, let's go down to Andrea Joyce.
Well, Gabby said after night one, don't give up on me. They didn't. How emotional is this for you to be able to overcome those struggles and make this team?
It's very emotional right now, and even though I had, a couple mistakes on day 2, they still trusted and believed in me, and I'm just so grateful. I'm so honored, and right now I'm just willing to work so hard and put my all into it, and I'm just so happy right now.
You had the guaranteed spot because you won trials in 2012. What was it like to be sitting in that room?
Sitting in that room is just so emotional, and it's just so nerve-wracking, and it's just like, everyone's worked so hard, and you just really don't know, but it's just very emotional.
Allie, you always say that the less you think, the better you compete, but clearly when you came out of that room, a lot going on in your head. Can you describe what this is like?
It doesn't sink in at all. I'm just so excited. Obviously, words can't describe how much it means to me to make a second Olympic team. When we were trying these on, I was like, Gabby, I can't believe we actually did it. I mean, we both came back together. This was our goal, and, hopefully we can bring Team USA to another gold medal together, but we're just so excited.
Congratulations. We'll see you in Rio.
Thank you. Thank you.
Al?
So those two get to taste the Olympics again. The other 3 will experience the Olympics for a very first time. And one of them will go to Rio as the young member of the team, and then you've got the most decorated gymnast in history. Here's Andrea Joyce.
Well, you said it, Al. Simone, you have this amazing resume of accomplishments, all of these giant moments. Where does this one fit in?
It definitely fits at the top because it's been a goal for a couple years now, and I still can't even believe it. It's so unreal, and I'm just proud and honored to be selected.
Are you more emotional than you thought you would be? Because you've been cool as a cucumber every time we talk to you about the Olympics.
Yes, I was definitely emotional. I am an emotional person, but I kind of try to hide it. But tonight, it's just a very good emotional night.
So the U.S. has had the Magnificent 7 and the Fierce 5. What would you call this team when you look at the talent?
I don't know. We're still fierce. And so Fierce 5, second generation.
Well, you got time to think about it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Al?
Kobe Bryant, nice enough to come here, experience it, and then mix in. Well, we thank you for joining us. We invite you to join us in 26 days as the 2016 Rio Olympic Games begin on August 5th on the networks of NBC Universal. Up next is your late local news. That's going to do it. Congratulations to the new 5. Hopefully they'll be fierce too. Tim Daggett, Nastia Lukin, Andrea Joyce, Al Trautwig. Good night.
This